Good afternoon. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Sunday, December 5th. We're going to start off yet again with a chart of the US dollar, and the reason being really interesting session on Friday. More so if you're long than if you were short this market and got sucked in on the pre-market futures. We had the jobs report come out on Friday. No ifs, ands, or buts. It was a disappointing report. Only 50,000 jobs created in the private sector, much less than anyone anticipated. And a lot of people, including myself, thought the number would actually be way more than expected. So, still, jobs continue to be an issue. And after the jobs report, we had a pretty decent sell off in the pre market. But reason we're looking at the US dollar chart, as I've been saying for many, many weeks now, this is what determines where the market goes. And the jobs report sold off the dollar, which has been very, very good for the stock market over the last few months. And it was no different on Friday. We had the dollar sell off, and of course, we saw nice action in the stock market after that initial dip. And then you had the shorts and the bears going, not again, and running and covering. Looking at the dollar chart, you can see we've broken down nicely now since our call at the top there a couple of days ago. We broke through the 20-day exponential, and all looks good for continued moves lower. Back to the Dow chart. Here is the 15-minute chart on the Dow, and as you can see, since the third golden cross, we've had a fat gain on the Dow. Now, typically, one thing I've noticed over the last couple of years, really since the March 2008 bottom, when we see this kind of explosion off a golden cross on the 15-minute chart, it's usually pretty bullish, at least for the next couple of weeks. So let's see if that theme holds true, over the next week or so. We have support now on the 15-minute chart around the 11,325 area. We do have room for more upside looking at some of the indicators like the positive MACD cross and RSI. Looking at the daily chart, we should be at least testing this 11,451 high this week. Volume has been pretty decent. You can see we broke out of that rectangle formation and we continue to extend to the upside. And then the key, positive MACD cross on the Dow daily chart. And when we've seen this after deep red, and I could pull up a chart going back a year plus, whenever we've had the MACD show a really red move like we had back in August and again during November, the following month tends to be very, very good for stocks. Also, to beat a dead horse, don't forget the midterm elections indicator that says whenever the midterm elections turn out like they did, the average gain for the S&P 500 over the next 90 days is 8.5%. And so far, the market is looking like it wants to do that. SMH continued to lead this market higher. We continue to ride this wedge higher with the 20-day exponential as support. Unless we break below that, there's no reason to be worrying about this market. One thing to keep in mind, we've entered December, and typically we see some tax loss selling hit over the next week or so. So one thing we're going to be looking for, especially in small cap stocks, is stocks that are down and beaten up and continue to move lower. And the theme or the strategy usually is to start accumulating them starting towards the end of next week into the following week to sit on them for the annual move late December into the first week of January. And we're going to be doing that again. So you're going to see a lot of emails coming out over the next couple of weeks about January popper plays. These are plays that we're going to start to build positions in anticipation for that annual pop in small cap stocks that occurs late in the month and into January. Back to stock plays, CBRX. We jumped into this one mid last week. $1.35 and under. First target was 150. Our secondary target now is 170 plus. A play on the trial results that should be coming anytime in the next couple of weeks. I think this one, if the results prove to be what I think they will be, we could have another AMRN type mover on our hands. But very, very strong volume action. Just like I said, the reason we jumped into this one midweek was we saw a big volume spike on the stock, as you can see on the chart, and this told us the funds were starting to move in, and the stock goes kaboom. Uh, would again continue to add any dips that we see under $1.40, although the $1.40 support held really, really well on Friday, so that's very, very bullish. CNXT, like I mentioned on Thursday, we are seeing a lot of charts set up like this. One thing that we complained about a lot in November, and part of the reason why I actually took a week vacation, is we were running out of plays. There was no plays out there. Everything had run up. Over the last month, we've had a nice little sell off in a lot of stocks. They've bottomed out, and now we're starting to see funds and traders move back into them. These are the kind of charts we want to be focusing on right now. Beaten down charts that are reversing and getting ready to run back to the highs we saw back there in September and October. We've got RSI breaking up through 50. Stochastics look really good. We got a positive ADX cross on Friday, and this chart looks rocking and rolling. Target here is a move to 156, and then after that we've got Zippo resistance till the 170 area. Any dips under the 20-day exponential at 143, I would consider adding a scalp position. Also, one other thing to keep in mind, we're not seeing a lot of stocks breaking down right now. We are going to see some of that happening with tax loss selling, stocks trading at their year lows that are down quite a bit. But for the most part, we're starting to see chart setups like this. So a way to trade these kind of setups is you enter a half position. You enter a half position, say Cognizant, you wanted to buy 5,000 shares. You would enter 2,500, 3,000 shares initially. If the stock has dips, which we're seeing in a lot of these stocks like Cognizant, before it ran to a buck 50, traded down to 141, you would pick up, a 1,000, 2,000 share position on that dip, and then on the next spike up, you would sell it. So you work to make your core position cheaper as you ride the wave to your target, which in this case is 156. NEI continues to be my favorite. I think we are on the verge of a very big move on this stock. And by big move, I think this next upcycle sees us finally bust out and make a serious move on the 200-day moving average up there in the twos. We've been coiling over the last week. We held support during that sell off in November, and this one is just looking for an excuse to run. Volume will be key here. We get volume of 350 to 400,000 shares on NEI, and we're off to the races. RSI holding the 50 level, stochastics, ADX all look really, really good. And I'm thinking this is the week where we finally see this one start to move. First target 168 here, but I really think this one should make a move to its 200-day moving average up there at the 215 level. FCEL, again, similar setup. As you can see, sell off during November. Nice consolidation over the last couple of days. Breakout 50-day moving average 123. We're looking for a move to 130, 135, 140 area. So we've got like a 10-cent range here with stops. I'd probably put stops at Friday's low, 117. RSI about to break 50. Stochastics also about to trigger a buy signal here. And this little shake early in the week, I think this one just set it up for a nice bounce move, and this one should be very, very good this week. JSDA, again, you can see this one beaten down after earnings. Nice consolidation over the last 2 weeks. A break of that 50-day moving average at 117, and we're looking at a move back up here to that 130 plus area. RSI is flatlined. We got a positive MACD cross on Friday, and that gave us a nice little pop the last couple of times we saw that. And now we had confirmation on stochastics breaking up through 50. So again, this is another chart set up very, very nicely for us this week. Mad Cats continues its stair-step move higher, which is great in my opinion. Lets you continue to ride your core. You grab a scalp position on the retrace and you see higher. Stock's trading a lot like a low float. We saw 85 cents late in the day on Friday, and if you try to buy it, it went spiking. Very good chance of a break of one this week. $1 is the next level to load the boat on this one. A break of one, and this one really could pick up some serious steam in the near term. Last but not least, we've got USAT. This was a trading alert on Friday, 103 to the 105 area. They do cashless wireless transactions, i.e., when you pull up to the gas pump and you've got one of those little keychainy things where you can swipe it and pay for your gas, it comes out of your account. This is the company that does that technology. And there was a play on PAY, Verifone, huge earnings report, big move this week. This one, double bottom on the chart, breakout 20-day exponential, which it did test initially on some really decent volume, which has been lacking here. Mid-morning Friday, we had a late day pullback, but this one is coiled for a move to a buck 20 early this week. RSI about to break up through 50. As I mentioned, we got a volume confirmation on that double bottom, and this is definitely another chart that can do very, very well over the next few days. And this is a kind of chart that once it starts moving, you're going to see it go boom, 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 boom. And before you know it, we have a really good chance it'll move back to a buck 40 on this one. Stops 97, 98 cents. So that's it for the video this week. NEI, love this setup. Would be looking to add any dips on it under a buck 53, and I think we're going to get a very, very nice move on this one near term. That's going to put some big smiles on traders' faces. We've got, of course, got our CBRX as we wait for that. Cognizant, FCEL with buying this one 122 and under. JSDA also looks nicely set up. So that's it for the video. A lot of potential plays setting up for us next week. So Santa Rally has begun, and we could be in store for a very, very nice 6-week period. That's it for the video. See you guys in the chat room Monday morning. Goodbye.